2 games in a row, Spring, no problem for Mackenzie Blackwood as the Avs walk into Philadelphia, their second straight matinee on the East Coast. They come away with a win against the Rangers at Madison Square Garden, and then in front of the Philly faithful, they hold off a hard third-period charge from Rick Tockett's Flyers. Mackenzie Blackwood stops the NHL's leading shootout sniper on a penalty shot called in the third period. Didn't even flinch, and the Avs hold on for a 3-2 victory, 2 games in a row. They get their 21st of the season. Brock Nelson gets his 10th. And hear this. Brent Burns passes Nicholas Lidstrom for 8th most goals all time by an NHL defenseman. The next guy he comes up on, well, it's another Hall of Famer. It's Bobby Orr.
Yeah, Brent Burns, man, he's got that, that little wrist shot of his has some pace on it, and and it just hasn't gone anywhere. At 40 years old, it's still there. Great pass by Natchez to find him. Drury a little bit net front. Flyers take a 1-0 lead in this game, and it's like, okay, second day of a back-to-back. Is Blackwood a little tired? I know it was kind of like a weird tip play there, but that was well wide of Blackwood. But either way, nope. Ultimately, the decision to start Mackenzie Blackwood today was a good one. And it goes to show, and you texted me before this game, man, you were like, Blackwood's back in net. And it's like, dude, like they are not fucking around. Like it's December 7th. We're not halfway through the season yet. You're the best team in the league. You could have easily gone Trent Miner today.
Yes.
You easily could have. And most teams in this situation would have done that. Now with the Dallas Stars breathing down their necks, and now they're 5 points clear of Dallas, and that's exactly what they wanted. They were not going to leave anything to chance. They wanted to come out of today 5 points ahead of Dallas, who will host the Pittsburgh Penguins at 4 o'clock. Here today. So we'll see what Dallas does. Pittsburgh's actually been pretty surprisingly good this year. So interesting one for Dallas, but they left nothing to chance. Like they're going for it. It goes to show today how damn important this 1 seed is to this team.
Yeah, they obviously know that Dallas isn't stopping anytime soon. I thought the idea to play Blackwood today with it's not the expectation, but it's the hope that those extra days give Scott Wedgwood enough time to come back and play against Nashville to close up this 4-game road trip. I think it was the right decision. It's not like Blackwood was heavily peppered yesterday afternoon against the Rangers. He only saw 21 shots. Now, the first period, they held off despite being down 1-0 early. They held off Philly pretty well in the beginning of this game. And typically that's what you see with teams on back-to-backs. You get their best effort in the first, a little bit worse in the second, and then what we saw today with Colorado is you hold on for dear life after you open up a 2-goal lead, and that's what they did. Yep. The whole third period was hang on to the bar and don't fall off. And Mackenzie Blackwood stepped up when he needed to, and I think it was the right decision for Jared Bednar. I don't think Trent Miner is going to start against Nashville. I kind of expect Scott Wedgwood to be ready.
If he's not ready, then it will be. Yeah, I don't expect Miner. I like because they're clearly going for it. Miner's just there in case Wedgwood can't go.
What a play from Buffalo! 5 minutes and 25 seconds to go. Christian Benford, the linebacker, tips a Joe Burrow screen pass to himself and takes it to the house. Buffalo, who was down and out going into the fourth here, now takes a 4-point lead on Cincinnati with 5:25 to go. What a play.
Wow. I had this game on the TV and the Avs on my laptop, watching on Altitude Plus. I'm rooting for Cincy in this game because granted, you don't want to see that offense in the playoffs. I really believe that, but I root for chaos really above all else.
And that Cincy
making the playoffs would be absolute chaos. They have to win out. This is maybe their toughest one in the snow here in Buffalo today. So that's crazy. That's crazy
play just there. But Obviously, going back to the Avs win 3-2 here. Blackwood is great. If Wedgwood's not ready, Spring, I think I'm in the mindset that you are. If Wedgwood isn't ready, there's no reason to tax another game on Mackenzie Blackwood. Throw Trent Miner at the terrible Nashville
No,
Predators.
see, I think they go
Really?
Blackwood. I think
Really?
that they're all in. They're all in on this one seed. They aren't. Here's this Philly game today. Okay, I actually think that Dan Vladar has been their best. Dan Vladar, I think, has like a 9-10-ish save percentage. I did just watch him get smoked by the Penguins earlier this week. I referenced that game earlier this week, but he came to that game with like a 9-10 save percentage. Urson's not that good. They smelt blood in the water today.
Yeah.
And they were not going to, like, I'm sure the analytics, everything said, you can win this game. You need to start Mackenzie Blackwood. This is 2 points right there for you. Don't leave anything up to chance. If you put Blackwood in net, you're very likely to get 2 points today. And that's what they did. They did not leave anything to chance. I think they go with the same strategy.
Really?
On Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? No, it's
Yes,
going to
it
be.
is. It's Tuesday evening at 7:30 Mountain.
Ooh, a little later start. Was this like some sort of,
It's
because that's
it's
in
a
Nashville.
yeah, it's a TNT HBO game. It's
Okay.
the
So that's
second
going to be an
national
8:30
game.
puck drop in Nashville. 7:30 here.
Yeah, there are two TNT HBO games. One starts at 5 p.m. Mountain. That's Vegas and the Islanders, and then the Avs are the late one. So it says 7:30, and we all know when the Avs are the late, they're always the late
Yeah.
slate for the TNT games. That's typically closer to an 8 p.m. Mountain puck drop. So in a situation where like every minute and every hour of rest counts, you can sway me over to your side.
And they're just like they're just going all in. Now there is something to be said about not gassing Blackwood, but I think in this small stretch, and Wedgwood, the back should, if it's not ready Tuesday, you got to think sometime later next week. Worst case scenario, the following week. That's not that long of a stretch where you're really riding Mackenzie Blackwood. You have to get 2 points against Nashville, and because you got to hold off Dallas, and that's the mindset right now. That's why they started him today. I fully expect them to start him on Tuesday if Wedgwood's not good to go. I see the comment you just pulled up. Talking about Mackenzie Blackwood. I mean, has he really had many injury issues in his career? It stands for what he was dealing with in the offseason coming into the start of this season. The Rangers are doing with Shesterkin, and he looked great yesterday. So I don't see why the Avs can't do this with Blackwood, knowing that Wedgwood will be back sooner than later. And then, you'll look back on this quote-unquote taxing stretch for Mackenzie. It was just a week, maybe two. In the long term, it's not that big of a deal.
Let's go reverse chronological for his injuries here. I think Joe Burrow just threw another pick, Spring, on the first play from
Holy
scrimmage.
crap.
I'm almost positive he just threw another pick.
Yep, he did.
Buffalo is celebrating in the end zone
here
right now. Dude, they had Buffalo completely dead.
James Cook fumbled at the goal line. It looked like that was going to be the killer.
Another tipped pass, and it gets tipped from a nose tackle to a linebacker, 57. I don't know who that is on Buffalo, and returns it a little bit. Dude, what a play. The Buffalo defense, which has been absolutely worthless all year, showing up big time in the fourth quarter. Okay, let's go back and look at Mackenzie Blackwood's injury history. He missed 10 games this year with the lower body injury. And last year only missed one game with illness, so I can't say anything for last year.
Played a lot with San Jose.
He missed a total of 15 games in 23-24 with the Sharks. He missed a total of 36 games in 22-23 with the Sharks and the Devils with a sprained MCL. The year prior, he had a 40-game season in 21-22 where he missed 40 games with a heel injury. The year prior to that, he missed some COVID games, so I'm not going to hold him off on that one.
That's interesting. I didn't realize he had missed some time with injury like that. I thought maybe some of that was just, he kind of his play dipped after the good start to his career. I thought that's what
Yeah,
a lot of it was.
there's history of not like missing seasons, but there's
Mhm.
history of him going, yeah, he's been gone and unavailable for like 15 to 30. So that has happened pretty consistently over the course of his career.
I'll be shocked if Trent, because this was the day, second day of a back-to-back. This was the day. Like, you've pretty much committed at this point. You've shown your cards at this point that you're just going to go with this dude until Scott Wedgwood is healthy, and then you start the alternating thing again. I do want to, and yeah, Blackwood was very good in the third period because, yeah, the third period of the second day of a back-to-back is when the legs are going to go. It's on Philly's ice. That's why you need a McKenzie out there. Um, the Trevor Zegras penalty shot, that
Yep.
shit was fascinating
Yep.
because of all the fucking players in all the gin joints in all the world. It's that fucking guy.
Right.
And I know in the broadcast there were Mosier's like, I don't know if that's a penalty shot. I mean, how many times have we seen an Avs player kind of get ridden like that, and we're like, dude, that should be a penalty shot?
It's a great point. The league does not call enough penalty shots on plays that exactly happen like we saw today. And it happens all the time to the Avs, and especially on delayed calls. So when it was a delayed call, I was like, oh, I think they're just going to call it a hook because Zegras got the shot off. I am of the ilk that every play like that, point to the center ice dot. It's
Yeah.
the most exciting play in hockey. It's boring when it comes to a shootout. A penalty shot in a regulation or an overtime scenario is the most exciting play in hockey. So, if there's any time where a shot, whether or not the player gets it off successfully, if it is affected by a penalty, by an obstruction, point to the center ice dot. And I do think that's why McKinnon like looks at the referee and goes, if he wasn't wearing 46 for Philadelphia, are you making that call? Because listen, they're human, right? Like referees are human. You know exactly who has the puck. You know exactly the type of scenario. And what better for the NHL? Like Trevor Zegras a couple of years ago, their golden child. He does all the YouTube tricks with the sticks. He's playing very well this year, as we pointed out. But what he is, if he does one thing better than anyone in the world, and he does statistically, it's score in a shootout or a penalty shot scenario. And Blackwood didn't even flinch.
I know. And look, I thought it was a great, and Zegras has stepped his game up this year. The ability to fight off McKinnon, who is very clearly just, he knows he's committing a penalty. Like McKinnon is on purpose hooking him. He's like, oh, we're beat by Zegras. I cannot let this dude get a shot off. Zegras gets a shot off, and it's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, he tries to go top corner, far side. Blackwood makes a good save. That was a really good shot and really good physicality from Trevor Zegras. Here's the thing, though, and now this is what I was going to get to, and Bandit, in the chat points it out. It was a weak penalty shot. I was surprised that Zegras did what he did, because Zegras is such a, and he starts with the slow plotting. And that's what he does. But he'll lull you to sleep. But then and it's what the Avs have been missing. Natchez did one recently. It was the first one where I was like, there it is, in a shootout. But Zegras will handle, and he'll just weave around you.
Yep.
And then he'll just, boop, tuck that thing in. Instead, he gets cocky and aggressive and just tries to snap one over the pad. I don't think Blackwood was even expecting that. Like, Blackwood's 5-hole is wide open in that moment if he would have just snuck one in there, David Pastrnak style. And you saw Zegras on the bench put his head down. He was super disappointed with himself. That was a missed, considering his skill level. That was the air. Like, that was the air that cost the Flyers a point. And I hate to say it because he's so great in those situations. And I kind of dig his skill. But it's great for the Avs that Trevor Zegras kind of went against his style, and it cost him and his team today.
It did look as though that little quick shot I think he just simply misses his spot because I think he was
He does
trying to
that
get him
too.
5-hole.
Yes.
He just lifts the puck a little bit too far. I think he was trying to go right over the stick underneath the where the two knees of the pads intersect, and I think he just honestly may have caught a flyer to steal a term from golf. He is very good at that. Like you can't argue with the stats. He's an elite shootout player. It was a huge moment. 5 minutes into the third, that could have made it a 3-3 game. Philadelphia would have absolutely erupted. I think the Avs probably lose the game, and they probably lose in regulation if Zegras scores that because they didn't have anything. They didn't have anything to bounce back on, right?
Sure.
Like you didn't. They didn't have anything to respond with. Their legs
Hmm.
were dead at that point in the water. It's a great save from Blackwood.
He stays
Yeah,
firm. He stays sound. He doesn't move. He doesn't flinch. That's why he makes the save.
He's 0 for 3 on penalty shots in his career, but he still has the best shootout percentage in the league. So,
He
um,
should have gone dipsy doo dangle-roo. That's what he should
right,
have done.
he stole that slow weave in from Evgeny Kuznetsov, right? Um,
Yeah, I remember he would do that.
and Kuznetsov was the one who started that when he was in Washington before he left for the K. The first person to really do the hey, I'm gonna change up my speed on you and either come in very fast and then very slow and then speed it up. That was Patrick Kane back in the day. So Zegras does a really good combination of those two styles. You see him as soon as he hits the top of the circles, he picks up the pace and he slows down. And typically, what you were saying is when he slows down, he'll then bring the puck wide and try and get the
Yeah,
goaltender to
he
make the
tries to get
first
the
move.
goaltender to move one way or the other. This time he did not do that. He just tried to surprise Blackwood.
Yeah, it's like a little like reverse psychology. I think he
Yeah.
thought too much about it.
Yeah. Maybe he's like, oh, maybe there's tape on me of doing this. I'm gonna go against the grain. And it was a poor decision because that could have changed the game. It works out for Colorado. And I do think you're right. Last point on that. This is entertainment, this is theater. And you want to see when it's that player, like you call the penalty shot. It's what you do because you want to see it. Take your Avs bias aside. Like you want to see that play in that moment. And we got it. And Zegras got in his own head and the Avs get 2 points because of it.
It was exciting. It was a stop all things and look at the television screen thing
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I loved it. Bandit brings up Lecky's been quiet as of late. I wanted to talk about him. I thought Arturi Lehkonen to start this game alongside Gabe Landeskog were the two best players on the ice for the first 40 minutes.
Well,
He's
he
always
had some
around the
good
puck. He's
back
just not
checking
scoring.
plays, and that's what he does. Speaking of Landeskog, and I do wonder because look, Arturi Lehkonen, and I've brought this up before, and we all know he is a very, very good player. I mentioned the back checking plays, like he's a great two-way player, and he can score. He's kind of a rebound guy. He's kind of in the slot in the dirty areas guy. The goal is for Landeskog to be on that line with Natchez and McKinnon. It's got to be. I love Arturi Lehkonen, but if you want to load up your best line, it would be McKinnon centering Natchez and Landeskog. So I think that, and Lehkonen's earned this spot. He was in this spot last year. He's been in this spot in his Avalanche career. Landeskog's still finding his way back, although playing much better. Lehkonen is just, and this is going to sound mean. It's not really. If you factor in everything I just said about Arturi, he's kind of a place. I think he's a placeholder right now, and there's nothing wrong with that right now. He can hang. Arturi Lehkonen can hang on a top line, but I do think ideally, when the Avs won a cup, top line was McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog. It's, those are three fucking horses. And I don't think Lehkonen is necessarily a horse in that respect. He's a great player, can play on a first line, very much so a second line player, though. So I think that's in terms of the goal scoring and the point production, there's a ceiling to an Arturi Lehkonen. And we're ultimately going to get to Landeskog getting on that top line.
I think you're probably right. I want to go back to what he's done to change the power play. And I think that much like the beginning of the season when Landeskog wasn't playing his best and was very slowly getting back to where he is right now, which is, dude, it's every piece old Gabe Landeskog right now. Like, he's not
Yeah.
missing pace. He's still got a great shot. He is sound defensively. He wins faceoffs when he needs to, when he comes off the wing. Like, he is $7 million plus right now. And what he was doing before he was that player again is he was kind of changing the identity. Like, the team started to play with a little bit more sandpaper, as Riker puts, a little bit more fuck you in their game. And it's because Landy's back on the ice and in the room. I think he's also changing a little bit of what the power play has too. Like, look at their goal tonight. The power play goal is a gross, gritty, grimy, get dudes in front of the net and just hope that you hack away at something and it goes in. And when you're snake bitten on the power play, like the Avs have been for the first 30 games of the season, man, that's a great way to fix it. And I think it starts with just a mentality that Gabe on the top unit brings to you.
I can just feel the difference that Gabe Landeskog makes, especially now that he is rounding into form and plays 18 and a half minutes tonight. It's noticeable, but it also just feels different. Like, it's just a trickle down for the team. Like, and I said before the season started that the key to this season is Gabe Landeskog. Now that the Mikko era is over, it's, could Gabe Landeskog return to form? And he appears to have done that. And that is the key, because they needed that top six, but really top line oomph. And it appears he is giving it to them and is going to continue to give it to them. And on that power play goal, man, I mean, look, it's Kale missing another net. But guess what? When you have pace on your wrister and it's just going to rebound off the end boards right near the crease, okay. You'll say you're going to miss a net, hit those end boards and get that puck back to the crease area. So that was a great pace on that Cale Makar shot, even though he missed another net.
This Buffalo and Cincinnati game continues to be bonkers. T. Higgins just made a wild one-handed catch in the end zone while being ridden like a rented mule. Like, what a play he just made. They're going for two, currently down 5 to make it a field goal game before the 2-minute warning.
How many timeouts do the Bengals have left?
Bengals have one timeout.
Ooh.
Burrow just fumbled the ball and Buffalo pounces on it on the 2. So they'll have to find a way to get a stop or an onside kick.
You got honestly, onside kick this thing.
In the snow might be an easier prospect than without the snow. They'll probably have to get the onside kick and then find a way to have a miracle at the end of this game with just one timeout. Continues to be crazy out there in Buffalo. All right, Spring, before we jump out and get to the Broncos game that kicks off here in about 5 minutes, last thoughts on today's game, the back-to-back win for the Avs against the Flyers.
Yeah, I mean, it was get the 2-goal lead. Get goals on Samuel Ersson, who is not a very good goaltender. That is the Flyers' biggest weakness, is their goaltending. He came in today with an .869 save percentage. That's fucking brutal. Start Blackwood knowing that this was a winnable game because of some of those flaws that Philly has, and survive in the third. Get the 2-goal lead, get 3 early. And survive in the third. And I mean, we haven't talked about Valeri Nichushkin's little snapshot. What a fucking shot that is. I mean, what a shot.
What a release. Yeah, quick.
Unbelievable.
Quick catch, so quick release.
It's a burn shot. It's a Nichushkin shot. And the difference in this game is that it wasn't pretty, but you got a power play goal. You win by one. Guess what? You got a power play goal. That also is a huge reason you got 2 points. You win by 1, and you had a power play goal. So huge.
Special teams big for the Avs as they win their second straight following a loss on the island to start the 4-game road trip. They look to grab 6 of a possible 8 points on Tuesday evening. You can watch that game on HBO or on TNT. Avs and the Nashville Predators Tuesday night before they come back home off of this 4-game road trip. Spring and I will be on sometime. My guess is around 11 p.m. that Tuesday evening. We will talk about a whole bunch to wrap up the 4-game road trip. I see a couple of comments in there asking about what the Avs can do before the trade deadline, what Dallas might do before the trade deadline. So we'll noodle on that on Tuesday evening as well. But in the meantime, get out of here, people. Broncos and Raiders 4 minutes from right now, looking to get their 11th win of the season and lock up any tiebreakers if both them and the Patriots win out in the AFC. If that happens and Denver beats Vegas today, you'll be the 1 seed. Avs win 3-2. We'll see you Tuesday.